Welcome, and good night to our
Roaring
scheduled
fans.
Thursday to our adoring fans. Welcome to CCS, which stands for Caribbean Creative Space, and we use this platform and we use this space to bring a sense of education, a set of old talk, shit talking about gears and stuff like that, as well as trying to bring a sense of community in the photography space or environment in
Creative
Trinidad and
space, so
Tobago.
to speak.
Correct. So, Bruce, what we have today in the world of tech news? I don't think I saw anything, so that's
Yeah,
why.
me neither. I still riding off of the R3 high.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, so I'm still there.
Anybody did the real world testing? Because I think all the videos I've seen is just small hands-on um, that I've seen so far. But so far,
It's only
what? Mhm.
Chronos who had like I would even say I guess a real well not really his real world review,
Right.
but his testing was I guess the most comprehensive that I've seen. DP review, yeah,
They
wasn't
tend
really
to
all
make
that.
more jokes about it. I mean, they give good feedback in terms of like the technical when it comes to DP preview. But I like Jordan's take more than Chris because I think Jordan is more technical than Chris, especially when it comes to talking about the video aspects of it. I
Yeah,
look forward to hear Jordan's
take on it. But they
correct
just
more.
snatched the camera from him like half 20
Yeah,
minutes into the video. So
but I did listen to Chris when he was talking about the eye detect focus pushing thingy, the moving around, and I ain't gonna lie, I would love to see how that works if somebody could. But I feel as though Conrad would definitely have to get one for us to
yeah,
check it out, because if that's the
that's fast.
next, if that yeah, correct, because if that's the next step in innovation when it comes to catching fast focus right away. I mean, we have autofocus, but if using your eye to to catch all the thing that you want in focus faster than what the computer or the little chip on board could do, I'm all for it. I'm definitely all for it,
So
because
you're saying that you will buy one? That's what I'm hearing.
I am not a brand core or what's the word I should probably use?
You're not a
Brand
fan.
or I am not a fanboy of anything. I will pick up anything to use if
Like the
it will
OG.
help me. Correct. If it will help me with my workflow and increasing that workflow and productivity so that I could get stuff quicker to my to clients and stuff like that. If there's a camera that could work with me with with that stuff, I go
Stuff,
and do.
yes. Yeah, I
Because yes,
mean, yeah.
yeah.
For me, the most recent review I saw was Vanessa Joy's.
I didn't look
That
at
was
those yet.
yeah,
I
that
didn't
a
look at those
little
yet.
too theatrical for my liking.
For
Because
real?
I mean, it was supposed to depict a wedding scenario, but you have ballet dancers just dancing around the bride
Yeah,
and
yeah,
groom.
yeah, yeah. It,
It's
it
like
felt a little
mm,
sorry. It felt a little
mm,
stage
a
on
bit
not stage,
excessive.
but more commercial. Like, oh, okay, we film a commercial here, so
Yeah,
let
yeah,
we
that's exactly
yeah
what it was. It was a
yeah we
commercial,
we filming a
and
commercial. So
everybody is
that's
red and black, so it's like a little on
yeah,
the nose.
and then when I realized, because I saw clips of it, and I realized she in a red skirt and a black top, just like the dancers. It's like,
Yeah,
oh,
red
I
ring.
see what you're trying to do here. All right, cool, no problem.
Not
It
very
is.
subtle with it. Not very subtle.
Mm-mm. I mean, she's a brand and a Canon ambassador too, so it is what it is. You had
But
to do what you
she
had to
has
do.
skills to pay the bills. I guess that's the moral of the story.
But I
But
still like her, though. I still like her. Vanessa is my girl.
skills,
You know,
yeah.
she's short. You expect her to be tall. She's
That we
she's
picking
like
up.
about she's like about here. Like I'm not even tall, but she's short. When you see her in person, she's like, oh, you look taller in your shit.
Yes,
I mean, in
yes,
your
I guess
stuff.
so. With angles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I really want to see how that eye autofocus thing, using your eye to move the AF, the autofocus points. I really want to see if that might be the game changing part of, or the next step into camera autofocus,
I
something something.
I just like the form factor, the fact that it's substantially lighter than the 1DX. Because the
Oh yeah.
1DX makes sense, eh? I ain't denying it. But that
For real?
FJ, it wasn't practical.
I
I
don't think
never
because
was a fan of the flagship, but the R3, I'm intrigued to say the least. I'm intrigued. Will I
I
get
agree.
one? Probably not, because you know me and my little Fuji retirement plan, and I
Right, 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 right.
getting up in
And it's
years.
and it's affordable now. So I think it's what 4,000 for the 50 the 50S2. Is it for 4,000 393
Somewhere,
39.99?
somewhere around there. Yeah, but
Hey,
that's it.
with a
But
good kit,
minus, huh? Pardon?
with a good kit like
To be honest, I
100,
just wore one lens, just the 100.
the 110.
110, my apologies. Yeah.
That's
110
the 85,
f2.
that the 85 mil, where
Yeah,
the 85 mil
that's
come
all I need for
through.
that. Canon glass for the rest. That's it.
Did Brandon um say anything
I'm
about
running him this week. I don't know. We have to reach out to him and make sure
YouTube?
it's safely here with us and amongst us.
So you at least get your hand. Hey,
Trinity the bone.
Conrad, you on mute still? Conrad with this
Yes.
he with this phallic looking microphone straight to his face.
Straight
Wow.
up in the mouth. Yeah,
I knew,
Guys,
he would never
guys,
disappoint me. Never
I
try not
hear
to
disappoint
you.
get
me.
demonetized this early in the game. Thank you.
Why would we be
Mm.
demonetized there, Bruce? Why would we be demonetized because of
In fact,
comments?
yeah, it's true.
We might get a sponsor. You never know.
Yeah, I
Hey,
forget people
yeah,
like
you
that
mean
kind of thing.
Pfizer would sponsor us? You know, Pfizer does make the other than they make the lib the strong
The
boy.
job.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, no,
yeah.
no.
The blue pills.
Before the jab, the blue, the strong
The
boy.
blue.
Oh,
Yes, yes, yes. You understand?
Yeah.
But
My
all we could
apologies
get.
for being late tonight.
that's
Oh
my
yeah,
thing,
yeah.
man.
Nah, not a small thing. Is
We
well,
we, we
anyway.
can't we,
Let's
we
not go
can't
there.
get angry with the host.
Well
Yes, it
played.
is.
Well played.
So yeah, we
I
were
heard.
just singing kudos to the R3 and was
Oh
about to head
yes.
over to the new the aperture light,
Oh
Which one?
the
yeah,
big brother to
the
the Nova.
The
the
Nova.
Nova. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
tell us a little
Nice.
bit. Tell us a little bit more about that now, because I saw nothing about it. I didn't go to
That thing
YouTube to see anything
huge.
about
Serious.
it.
That
I
thing
didn't do
huge.
anything. I didn't do
Well,
anything.
it's now a 2x1 format. The Nova before was, well, that's the P300C, a little over 300 watts draw, and that had a little over more than a 1x1. I think it's more like a 1.5x1. So now they do a proper 2x1, full 2x1, twice the power of the original P300C. So now they call it the P600C. They are individual, what do you call it, boy? You could call it universals. So where with the adjustments on the original P300C, everything is on one control, if you will. When you make the adjustment to the P300C, everything is changed at the same time. On the P600C now, you have 4 individual universals. So you could literally change yellow on top, red below, blue, green on across the entire thing. So it's a really nice, light, powerful. I'm still not sure if I want to get one because it's very expensive. It's like twice the cost, and it's
When you say
very
twice, it's
big.
like how expensive are we talking about?
We're looking at around, I believe, 35.90 US
So they can
with
keep
a
that,
case.
right? Okay, no problem.
Well, I love
Something
Novas.
like
I
that.
mean, they just work really well. I have one right now. This is the overhead light, and
Mhm.
yeah, this it's just crazy. You could do anything with a Nova
You trust
basically,
that over
except
your
hard
head, man?
light. Yeah, well,
You see the man stands.
it's
You see how much stands he have. I would
well,
place my unborn child on his
Yeah,
stand.
I do. Perhaps Bertha. Bertha could hold my child,
we
but
won't go so
nobody
far.
else. Nobody
But
else.
but
they
but I
probably
have
they
to
don't know who's Buta, Bruce.
but I have to
Oh,
say
that's the
that
Kupo heavy roller stand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I have to say the Conrad's ability to just ring off the
Uh-huh.
the specs is without even a or he
It's
just
like
like
you with
listing it out.
marketing. It's like you with
Oh,
marketing, how you love
okay,
marketing. And
okay.
Bruce with lights as well.
Right,
And
so it's your
canvas.
passion. Okay. But
Yeah,
every
you know
time
how it
he
is.
talks about like specs, it's just as be like, wait, how he remembers
Yeah.
all this, and
It,
he flows so smoothly into it. It's like listening
it's a
to
love
a
for the
nice
light,
little.
man.
It's a
But
sexy. It's like
that's it, man.
listening to a sexy radio man talk about.
I know you
Sexy
with
radio
you know.
stuff.
Hmm.
I know you with you know.
All
Hey,
right, sorry,
so
yes.
Bruce, we have a guest tonight,
Oh
Yes,
yeah.
we do.
Excited for
and
this one.
I am.
We
Yeah, I am
have.
because I know nothing about commercial photography.
Well,
Same.
I know just a
Same.
smidge.
I'm here to learn
Hmm.
tonight.
Sure, definitely.
Yeah. Well, we all in that space. I really can't wait to get into this
Yeah,
interview
we coming to learn tonight.
with Kibwe Brathwaite.
Mm.
The man
He's a
himself, right?
commercial front. We um, titled it an hour with a commercial photographer. But
Let's see if we could
I
keep
get
it
some licks for
with
that
an hour.
title already. Understand? So
Yeah,
it'll be a nice one tonight. It'll be a nice one tonight.
Okay.
Hope I do it justice.
definitely.
Hopefully
I'm looking forward to it. I'm
yeah,
just
because I
gonna
was
sit quiet
asking
and
me.
listen.
Me too.
So no cyber tonight.
I mean, yeah, I
I'll
could
be in
do
the
it. I would
comments. I'll be
definitely
in the
do it.
comments.
I'll be. That's where I'm gonna be. I'm gonna be in the comments stirring
So
up trouble.
show me here.
I go and check out Phil. We on
I
with
go and
Phil
check out
tonight.
Phil.
Phil
Yeah,
reach
we
yet?
Phil.
You new chat?
I didn't see Phil.
No man. No, I'm gonna call Phil. Phil can't be serious.
Yeah.
But tell us a little bit
I'll be
more
seeking them.
about Kibwe before we bring him on now. Like, who is Kibwe and stuff like that.
Yeah, please.
How you know him?
Shame. Oh, okay. Because I was just gonna read off his bio, but yeah.
You need to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll. Yeah, I think I'll just do that. But how I met Kibwe is actually through Kyle. Kyle
Our
called
man of
me.
God, God voice,
Yeah.
Kyle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Morgan Freeman in
Wow.
the business.
Morgan Freeman in the background. Okay.
Yeah. So he called and was like, "There's this photographer who needs lights for a job, and it might be a couple days. Well, so if I'll be interested," I was like, "Well, yeah, there's no scene."
Mhm.
So got the phone call. Spoke to him. He's like, "We have the shoot for this brand. Um, what do you have? Can you use this stuff competently?" I was like, "Yes, yes." I say usually when you rent the lights, you get me. So at least you have someone who knows how to use the lights on scene. I'm on transport. Don't study that. You're safe.
Right.
And yeah, so he's like, "All right, cool. Let's make it happen." And yeah, and we went to Port of Spain. Not my favorite place in the world, but
What do you mean?
it is what it is. Bills are to get paid. So yeah, and it was an all-day thing. It was an interesting day to say the least. Extremely interesting. And that day gave me real respect for what the working definition of a professional photographer is. Because let's say not everything went according to plan that day, but you have to get the job done.
Nice.
And that he
Right.
did. Calmly, professionally, and I was like, yo, I need to level up.
That is a true problem solver right there.
That's it. That's why
True that.
and that's why you hire a professional.
Correct.
Not to get excuses,
Mm-mm.
to get stuff done. And that's it. And that's it. So
Okay. Can't wait to see what is.
so we have we brethren hailing from the Southlands.
Oh, he's a South man.
Yeah.
Oh
That's some
yeah, good
questions
people,
we-
man. Good people.
Okay,
Yeah,
calm
yeah,
down.
yeah.
Calm down.
Well, I mean, facts is facts. I mean, some
Nah,
people
so-
practically Tobagonians. Just
Oh come on, man. That's
Practically.
stretching. Man.
Wow, you're real reaching far with that one. You tried. You're real
I ain't
trying.
telling no lie.
Hey, keep real, boy.
Hey, keep
Hi,
good night. Good night.
Good night,
Good night, man.
Comrade. Good night,
Good night.
Owen. Good night, Theon. Good night,
President
Kyle.
Freeman. Yeah.
Yeah, Morgan Freeman.
Good
So,
night.
I mean, you want us to just jump straight into it, or you wanna warm up?
Yeah,
Let's
sure. I mean,
let's
anything. I mean, I just was laughing in the background at the intro story.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
that fateful day.
day or days? It was days. Oh
Well, it
yeah,
was a day for me. It was
it
days
was
for
a day
you.
for you. Yeah,
Yeah,
for you
it's just that
as
day for
well.
me.
what was your take on that day? Is it like is it a different story to Owens, or is it
What
like
we trying to say, Pally?
I
We're just
I,
trying to
Me
ensure you
understand you.
didn't fudge the story, man.
I you
That's
know
all.
I like to hear we want to hear from
I gotta
we
rock
want to
back.
hear
I gotta rock back.
what was it that day that he was talking about? What was it like for you?
The story is quite accurate.
Mm.
It
Hmm,
was.
didn't see that coming.
I did it. Thankfully, honestly, Owen and Kyle really kind of saved the day. But it's like some jobs are you meet difficulties, you meet challenges, and it was a challenging situation over a few days. And but as you said, yeah, you have to get it done. Let the hands do the
Nice.
work of the hands, and let the feet do the work of the feet. You just go in, do what you're supposed to do, and bounce because sometimes a production has many parts, moving parts, and in a situation like that, you just have to stay focused and do your part well because it may look kind of funny on other people's end, but they know what they're doing and it's great. So once you're doing your part impeccably, and at the end of the day, that's most important in situations like that. In situations specifically for what Owen is referring to.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, so
Mhm.
this might be a little cringe-worthy, Keebs. So
Mhm.
brace yourself. So I'm reading your
There we
bio,
go.
right? So yeah, so
Mhm.
Kibwe
What you want?
Brathwaite is Brathwaite or Brathwaite? Because I know
Brathwaite. Yes.
I
Brathwaite.
wanted to
Yeah, I
ask
know the
that, yeah.
Bajans. Well, I know that name to
Brathwaite.
be
Brathwaite.
Brathwaite. Right?
A
Kibwe
bit of a tongue
Brathwaite.
twister, but
Yeah, is a commercial photographer from Trinidad and Tobago who specializes in portrait and lifestyle imagery for editorial and advertising. He enjoys
mhm.
creating simple, modern images of interesting people doing interesting things in interesting places.
Yes.
Kibwe creates content for local,
Oh, you're reading
regional,
the
and
whole thing. Okay.
Yeah,
that's why I
wow.
celebrate yourself. That's why I
He well
celebrate
going.
yourself.
He
I
well
wanted to
going
see
in.
a reaction
Oh wow.
to reading to hearing your own words recited to you. Kiwe recreates content for local, regional, and international brands and publications, employing his critical understanding of the visual communication process and the impact of images on various media.
Keep
When
is a
he's not
copyright.
shooting, yeah, it's full copy guy.
You're
When
really
he's
gonna
not
read
shoot,
whoa, okay.
yeah, this is my favorite part. So I wasn't cutting
Let,
this part out at all.
let me hear this one.
So when he's not shooting or editing or reluctantly writing about himself in the third person, he
Mhm.
can be found outdoors enjoying short pants and flip flop weather with friends, family, and his camera phone. My highlights of that whole bio is or reluctantly writing about himself in the third person, which is in bold, by the way.
Yes,
How you managed to even throw that in there?
because it's true.
It's true. I mean, I know some
It,
people who keep that to themselves. I mean, especially that third person, writing about myself in the third person.
no,
It
I mean
helps. It works.
it's,
It definitely works.
it's just a chicken tongue in cheek
Yeah.
kind of
Tongue in
thing.
cheek kind of.
It
People
makes him relatable to me,
Very
to be
relatable.
honest. Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
well there, boom, there we go.
Yeah,
Good sense of
That
humor
was
as
the
well.
intention.
correct.
That was it.
Definitely a good sense of humor. All right.
That
All
was the
right,
intention.
so we enter the meat of the matter.
Mhm.
So let me ask, how did you get into the commercial slash advertising space?
Um, it was about 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I don't want to say I fell into photography, but I fell into um a design firm, a company named Bob Group, that they were a branding company, and they had done some magnificent work and needed a photographer. They had a photographer. Actually, one of the founders was a photographer, but obviously in his capacity, he needed to do a lot more things than photography. So I came in as an assistant to him, and I mean, went from assistant to being the main photographer very quickly. And then the company temporarily merged with the local arm of Ogilvy, and well, basically, then I had to begin shooting commercial images, and yeah, it just went from there. And a few years after, I branched out on my own, and here we are.
And the transition from assistant to main photog to jumping out on your own, what kind of timeline was that?
From assistant to being the main photographer was 3.2 seconds. It was really quick. It was really funny because I guess they knew what their intentions were, and I was not too cognizant of it. So that was within, honestly, probably a few weeks. Over the course of probably one project, which was as soon as I came in, there was this particular project that we did, and you went from planning the shoot to actually shooting. So then, I guess how that team worked, it was very fluid. So speaking with the designers, understanding what the communication is, and going out and executing. So from going out on my own, was after 3 years. Yes.
So 3.2 seconds to 3 years.
3.2 seconds to 3 years. I branched out on my own, and 3 years. Yeah, that was it.
Okay. So with regards to branching out on your own, how do you get work? Do you work for clients directly? Do you work for an agency? How do you procure your line of work?
It varies. So traditionally, large brands would have some large brands would go through traditional ad agency, whether it is actual Ogilvy or CMB or Meccano, whoever it is. So that would be, they would be the person the agency would call me for whatever it is required. However, there are some clients that would call directly because they don't go through an agency. Like I deal with a client right now who's a major beverage manufacturer and distributor. They don't have, they are kind of unique, but they
do subscribe to
they
that
don't
citation.
they don't go through an agency for some of their products, and I think a lot of companies actually move in that way, where their internal marketing has become so robust that they have their own internal creators.
So then they get
It's with some things they would have, it would be easier to outsource to an agency, a traditional ad agency, or some type of agency, whether it is a traditional ad agency or a digital agency who just doing digital, creating some kind of digital infrastructure, and obviously that has to be furnished by images and designers and text and copywriters and stuff like that. So they could do it that way. And also, I mean, obviously there's the large corporations that do it that way. obviously the smaller businesses, medium and micro, would contact me directly, and they will have longer conversations about what their goals are, what it is they want to accomplish in the more than likely it's a website that they would like to build and require images. So they would contact me directly.
Okay. So walk me through the hiring process
hiring process?
Yeah, like Kibwe. All right. So like from request to delivery. So how does that go? They call you, send an email. No, because I mean, like for my stuff, it not really that hard. It's like, hey, I need some headshots. All right, cool. We can link the scene. But
I mean, it's very similar. Okay. With an agency, it's super, I would say, simple on my end most times, where they would have they would have their creative team that comes up with the concept, the layout, how things supposed to be, and they would just call me and hit me up and say, okay, well, this is what we want. This is literally what we want. We're doing the production, everything. This is the layout. So the copy would be on this side or that side or both sides. So shoot in the middle and headroom, blah, blah, blah. And I just show up with my stuff and shoot. And sometimes it has to coincide with a video facet, a film facet, where there would be a TVC of some sort. And so that part of the production is already done. So the look, the concept, everything, 90-something% of that part is done. And that's pretty easy. You walk in, you shoot, and you send your selections, and they do all of the work. For some other clients, it all varies according to the size and how they do their work. I have worked where I supplied some of the creative, I would say, but they supply the production part. So they sort the models and the locations and stuff like that. And doing that part of it requires mood boards, shot lists, stuff like that. And then at the end, there's obviously a whole load of conversations about how many images, not how many images you need, but what are the themes or the type of, what do you want to accomplish? What's the layout? So we create themes to complement that. And in that case, similarly, I don't just hand over the images. I will try to edit, do substantially more editing, and then hand it off to their designers and layout artists.
Okay. So as you talk about delivering images, the whole idea of intellectual property, and do you charge for rights? Do we license images? Do you?
Oh yeah. Definitely. Wait, what do I charge for? Yeah.
Right. How do you price that? Because I know some models have where, depending on the scale, you put a multiplier on it, or you charge them for usage for a certain period of time.
Right.
Or do you do the same, or you just say, hey, hold that?
I'll be very honest. I am not. That conversation is. That's a whole 2 hour conversation.
We could probably have you back for that conversation.
It is something I learn something new every time. I try to stay within my lane, as in, just basically that. I try to keep things within the parameters of my knowledge. With that said, I would say most times for an ad, like, pardon,
Say it.
most times for an ad through an ad agency, they you charge for licensing the work. But see, the thing is this is really a tricky one, because according to what it is, be it an actual ad that a client asked to create. They came up with the concept and everything. And they want you to just create this image. Like the example that I gave in the beginning, where you just come and shoot and send the images. Yeah, that is you can't really charge much for that, because the concept, well, I don't really charge as much as something else for that, because I am essentially just coming in as a gun for hire. They did most of the creative work, they did all of the production and everything like that. So I just charge, a shoot, a day fee. When it comes to on the other side, where it comes to a company or entity may ask for images that I already have and request licensing, and that varies. Okay. That varies on the basically media buy, how wide, how many eyes. Is it just a magazine locally? Is it a regional campaign? Is it something in Latin America? Whatever it is, or is it something online, just for online? You scale accordingly, and you scale for that, the breadth, and also the time. Whether it is like most billboards, billboards will stay up for 4 months, 3 months, according to the company. Like I think Carib is probably 3 or 4 months, and then they switch out, regardless of what the brand is. Marketing Carib.
Okay.
It's 3 months, so you take that into consideration. That image is just there for 3 months, most times. Have other things to consider where they would have stuff on a bus or something, I don't know, or some other kind of physical collateral. Yeah. But yeah, so those are the parameters in which a charge is not really a standard rate. You have to really suss it out to understand what are the intentions, and because you are basically licensing your work. And then, sorry, one more thing. The last part of it is where you're charging for everything. You did come up with the concept and everything. You basically come up with everything and then shoot it. You charge for that accordingly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So the $1 million question is, so then how do you usually charge for a project? Is it like hourly rate, project base rate, day rate, and
that is what be.
Same thing.
That is it's like asking how long is a piece of string.
Right. So essentially what I'm trying to ascertain, do you subscribe to the hourly rate thing, or like what do you consider value-based pricing, which is you charge by the project versus I charge you hourly to get something done? Or do you still see it as subjective?
It is subjective. It is subjective because if we are talking straight large household name, okay, that is a relatively standard thing. I can't give you. Oh, if you're asking for numbers, I can't give you numbers.
No.
That is a standard. Yeah. That is a standard thing where, if it is you're asking for license images or whatever. If it is, as I said, like you are just the hired gun, so you charge for your hourly, day. Because that would be a day rate.
Not necessarily.
Yeah, that would be a day rate. hourly is not really, unless it has to be something really minuscule. But when it comes to commercial work for business, this is not an individual. Um, this is a business,
Entity.
and I mean, there's a lot of other things that come. It's not just you walking in and buying camera and then getting out of it, and that's the end. You know, you have all these things that comes before and after the pre and post production, and admin, and all of these other things. So you charge accordingly for that. So it's again, it's really not a straight
It's not a cut
answer.
and dry. It's not a cut
It's
and dry.
not a cut and dry, but for most commercial projects, you would charge a day rate because that is what you need. If it is something with a grand scope and that requires many days, you kind of have to balance it out as something with you basically have to balance it out and know what it is to charge. But at the back of your mind, it's all just a project.
Okay. So, like, all right, with regards to that, I had a really nice question. I just evaded me. Sorry. No, it really just went. Yeah. No, I had a really nice follow-up question to that. That wasn't on the, Yeah, I'll get back to it. Hopefully, it comes back.
Yeah.
So we're talking about pricing and working on projects and the like. So, I want to start with the dream project. What was that one thing that you're like, yeah, I will almost work for free for this project if it shows up? Or is there a particular? Well, I wouldn't say client because that might be name calling, and we wouldn't want to do that.
I don't think I have a dream project because dream project as in the capacity of a photographer.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it is not just one dream project. It's more about I mean, COVID kind of screwed things up, but I still have a plan to hit certain targets, and I'm not. It's more the people I'd like to capture and the projects that I'd like to capture, and there are some really interesting things that people do, and some, as my bio said, there's some really interesting people in interesting places doing some interesting things, and I would love to capture those things, but as a kind of I don't know. This will sound very weird. I've always wanted to capture a head of state.
Head of state.
Oh, yeah, prime minister, president, and it's not for any political thing. It's just to do that and put my spin on it. I know that you have to follow particular
protocols. Yeah, no, because I'm not going to ask should they allow it.
You definitely see the differences, the nuances in the different photographers.
Well, yeah.
So I know where you can leave your little visual signature. So that's the only thing. But other than that, the things that I want to do go way beyond the scope of Trinidad region, even photography, because I have more interest in communication. It's not really about just image, still images. It's more about communication, whether it is images, moving images, sound, color, and how efficient you are or whoever it is, how efficient is the media that you're putting out. That is really my interest. Sorry, I went a bit off there.
No, it's not off because actually it kind of leads to a question was asked, the value or importance of engaging content in the digital space, and more or less you're alluding to that in the communication that you're trying to well, the type of work that you would like to do. It's not
Yeah.
just quote unquote pigeonhole by the still image, because you've referenced moving
Yeah.
images, sound. So do you have
Yeah.
a hand in all these things as well? Do you do any music production? Well, I guess video kind of would go, not that hard to add on to photography.
Yes or no? I mean, as in, because, all right, so answering your question, I not professionally, well, I do small jobs and consultation for other types of media, whether it is sound or video, but definitely not, I wouldn't say I'm in the realm of uh, being a film director in any which way, form, or fashion. Um, but yeah, that is the thing. I mean, as that, I don't know if it was a comment somebody made, but yeah, we live in the age where it's not necessarily being jack of all trades, because you could end up jack of all trades and master of none, or just being undefinable. But it's more about really using one. I think it's more it's using one mastering one craft to get on to the other, and at one stage you may discover something else and go in a different direction. And that is not for everybody. Some people get to one craft or get to one thing and they master it and they're fine and they blast that shit out of the park and they are excellent. There's many people who do that locally and internationally. But then there are some people who are able to transition into other things. Or there are some people who are known for that thing. I always look at recording artists. Obviously, the names that we know, and specifically hip hop. Obviously, the names that we know, Sweet Beats or Kanye or whoever else. These are people that we know are recording artists and producers. But Swiss has a crazy art collection. I think if you remember, years ago, Kanye decided to go to Paris and intern as in a fashion house and things like that.
Yeah.
And that informs the other work that you do. So you can still you're excelling at one thing, but you're using these other crafts and explorations to jump onto that or just really inform the way that you do whatever you do, but at another level.
Understood. So with that being said, how would you categorize yourself?
A doubles man.
Doubles, jumping the gun, man. Doubles coming up. Doubles coming up. Yeah. So like how? Because I mean, we had a conversation a couple weeks back where we were talking about, even as a photographer, how do you define yourself as a creative first or business person first? How do you see yourself in that realm? You see yourself as
Or specifically as a creative or business person.
yeah.
I mean, it can be both. I am master of none, but admittedly,
I wouldn't go that far, but if it's
but no, I think you can, again, just because, again, going back to recording artists, Jay-Z, he's good at his craft that we know him as a recording artist, but also exceptional as a businessman, right? If you were to ask him, the same question, I don't know what would be the answer, because at a certain level, obviously, yes, you have a team, right? You have a team that makes decisions. It's kind of like on a production set. You're not shooting and holding the light and behind the computer and the stylus and doing sets. Let the hands do the hands, work of the hands, and the feet do the work of the feet. But knowing what it is you need at whatever point is most important. So I mean, that's why I say I'm master of none. You know, just get the thing is to just get better and get a stronger team or better or improve your resources to better yourself.
So in that vein, do you see like the relevance of mentorship?
Oh hell yeah, yeah. Definitely, that is massively important. Um, massively important. Uh, the, there are. Sorry, I want to switch the tables. Why do you ask that?
All right. Well, to be honest, in order to elevate yourself in any sphere, it's always, I see, ideal to be either um, procuring information or soliciting the advice of those who are where you want to be.
Mhm.
So that's where that's where that question is coming from. Because for me personally, I see you as where I would like to be in the commercial
You sure?
sphere. From what I have, well, all right. Yes, I am sure. Not necessarily the chaos of the world, but the way you handle the chaos in that regard. So the term working professional is extremely weighted for me. Is I don't take it lightly at all. So seeing someone do the level of work required in in that high demand, no excuse kind of environment and still get stuff done with the satisfaction of the client, especially when they throw 50 different curveballs at you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
careful. We're not talking about that scenario.
now, well, I mean, the working examples I have as well reference, but yeah, that because it's not the really good situations that will test you, is the ones
Yeah,
that
yeah,
not ideal and how you
yeah.
react in that capacity. So in that vein, that's where I see mentorship, or that's why I ask about mentorship, because I see you as where I want to be in the commercial space, although you might not see it that way, or you might be looking further ahead. So that's how we get to the next level.
I
So in
mean, in
that vein,
response to that, I want to say I'm massively humbled by that. Thank you very much.
you'll see
But,
that. That's it.
well, not but. I look at other people locally and internationally. Um, and I mean, I've shared some names with you.
Yeah.
At people who I think are really good mentors. And I am, so specifically, so what you're talking about mentorship, and let's say the example is what you gave with the dealing with challenging situations. Uh, yeah, that's one of the reasons definitely to know how to manage situations that from the unexperienced to the unexperienced person that may seem like chaos, but to somebody else, to the experienced person, that is, yeah, this happens every day. Yeah, I've if the fire could break out, there's a fire extinguisher there for that.
Right
It's
there.
fine, you know. But the other thing is also to give upon a mentor. I think is really to give perspective. That's why a lot of times mentors are obviously older, and not just more experienced, but older. But yes, obviously much more experience. They would be able to give perspective as, sometimes we look at where we are and could only see the spotlight, the hit right here, this period in time, and not be able to understand where you can be if you do X or Y or in the next whatever timeline. And also where the industry, the market, or whatever it is, where it will be, where it was. Look at the trajectory of how things are changing, look at the trend. And also a mentor to, I would say, open doors or direct you put you in a direction that is better than the one you might have chosen, that you may think is right. Because I always go back to this. Like, this is a kind of vague example, right? And again, I always kind of look at recording artists. And no, this is not really throwing shade on Trinidadians, really. But if you go online, you could see mad footage of how they recorded, I want to date myself here, We Are the World, right? Right? You could see video of Kirby Hancock and Stevie Wonder messing with the Fairlight synthesizer or whatever. You could see how people created things. And in the same way, I mean, even in photography and film, you always see all of these creative footage from behind the scenes of Star Wars or Jaws, all these wacky things. And there is, other than the footage, there's obviously much more documentation to show this is how this was done. Yeah, it was a secret back then, but after that, this is how this was done. We don't do that. We really don't do that. Like, somebody makes something and you have to figure out how to do it. Somebody does something almost 20 years after, somebody else wants to do it, and now they have to figure it out all over again. And there's no blueprint, no breadcrumbs, nothing. So in photography, nearly every photographer has to go through, the same things, make the same blunders. And there's some kind of understand why, because the infrastructure behind our creative industry, that's a next challenging conversation. But but you still have these people doing the same things over and over and over again, and not enough mentorship to prevent that and for people to surpass you and somebody surpass that person, and so on and so on and so on.
And I think that, well, from where I sit, I think that usually is the caveat, because a lot of persons, they want you to succeed, they just don't want you to be better than them, or to, how they would say it, as overriding their legacy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they keep certain things as trade secrets and tell you to go figure it out yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it even in the academic sphere.
Mm-hmm.
It's not nice.
That is quite.
Names, but it's not nice.
That is quite unfortunate. Yeah.
It's not no Jedi Master ensuring that the legacy continues. It's not that kind. It's either join us or sit kind of vibes.
I think it requires people, and I should take my own advice, knocking on the right doors. Because knocking on the right doors and knowing how to knock on the door.
Asking please and thank you.
That's the best way I could put that. Yeah.
Okay. So would you look for mentorship? Just another question on it before we move on. Would you look for mentorship say for example, external of someone who is a photographer, say for example, like someone who is really good at business, just look for mentorship in that vein and not necessarily tied to your area of expertise?
It's funny you ask that, and I would say 1,000% yes. Like people ask me, and funny, I thought that was one of the questions. Unless this question is coming up, like who are the photographers that you look at? Like if
Actually,
like
that was
am I that dude to write Ansel Adams quotes under my photograph and stuff like that? You know, like who are the photographers that you look at and I do look at other photographers' work and think like, wow, this is really amazing. But there are other traits in other creatives that I massively admire. There's again local and international. There's so many. But okay, if you, for example, I massively admire Richard Rawlins' work. And Richard's work and the way he works. I don't know if you know who Richard Rawlins is.
I think I did a little research on it last
You
time.
should not say that on camera, Lord have mercy. You should have just
No. When we had the because forget it.
All right, okay.
We discussed it and he said, "Hey, is that guy?" And I'll be like, "Yeah."
Right.
And I went and I.
Oh, right. I'd mentioned it before. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
And he is not a photographer. You know, he is a designer. But I like his work and just the trajectory that he takes. Other people, you know, kind of wily. He is a painter, international world-renowned painter. He did I don't know if you know the Obama portrait. Why I like his work is because he did a series of work that really hinge on representation, where he took let's say the gist and silhouettes or the ideas of these older paintings of, let's say, that painting of, I forgot who did the painting of Napoleon. Mm-hmm. Napoleon on the horse, mm-hmm. Right? And he reappropriated it as, well, not the painting, but did a painting of African American on a motorbike. It was a motorbike. I think it was a motorbike. In urban gear, but basically took these silhouettes and these ideas of these old classic paintings and change the meaning by putting and representing a set of people that were not looked at in that way, in a similar way. And I think that kind of messing with perception is really cool, and that's why I like his stuff. You know, locally, I really love Mark Lindsay's work. Mark Lindsay is really underrated as a photographer, because people fail to understand, like, Mark is a writer. There's two superpowers you could have as a photographer: being a writer, and if you're also a designer. And most times when I look at a photographer that I like, they are either of those things or wood. So in Above Group, the company that I started with, mm-hmm. It was Alex Smales. Alex Smales was a photographer. He was also a designer, but he's also a journalist, like a serious journalist. Like, he was over in Kabul, or he was there in Afghanistan when the plane hit to get people's reactions. Like, serious guy.
So how you know to be at that time?
Pardon?
No, I was saying you saying he was there when the planes hit tail reaction. It was like, how you
No, no,
how you know
not
to be there?
in the, not in the building. He was
No,
in
not in the
Atlanta.
building, but to be on that side of the planet. Like,
Yes,
let's sit and wait for a reaction. Well, how you know when it's gonna happen? But that's just a sidebar. That's just me being dumb. Sorry.
because back then there was a lot of things going on in the Middle East. As I said,
True.
he is was
So he was there.
a photojournalist, and he went on to he's now a UX designer. But from those things, you use photographs, you use words, you write, and you design, and those things furnish photographs on an article, on a page, or whatever it is. And if you kind of master those two things, I think that's a kind of superpower. That's a real superpower that you could have. And those are the kind of people that I look at. And they're not mentors, like lots of these people that I call, well, not kind of Wiley, but like Alex Niels or Mark Lindsay. I am blessed to have their ear at that, or have their ear at times where they would be like, nah, it's not a good idea, or okay, cool, whatever. And that's what we need more of, people who, again, we just have to know how to, is really learning how to knock on the right doors. And, well, as you rightly said, so those doors for somebody to answer the door and not throw water on you from
That's enough of this.
from on top. Yeah.
You're not home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we need to do a little housekeeping at this point.
Okay.
So we want to know if there one any questions in the comments for our resident commercial photographer or interviewed commercial photographer. Also, we need you to, well, don't forget to join our Facebook group. Yes, another Facebook group for creatives by creatives. And the link is in the, I would say description, but that's not it, is in the comments. So yeah, go ahead and like, share, join, subscribe, all that good stuff. So, hey, questions in already. This is coming from Daryl. Thanks, Daryl. What do you think is the greatest challenge to becoming a commercial photographer?
Greatest challenge? I mean, I guess everybody's gonna have their challenges. I think specifically with commercial photography or any kind of photography, but specifically, you're not taking chances with your friend or I don't know, your friend, cousin, neighbor, or something like that. These are large companies, and you have to know what you're doing. One, on the business side, obviously, know what you're doing so you don't get trapped, but also know what you're doing as in the thing about being a professional photographer is not about making a really cool, being able to make a really cool image. It's about somebody saying, I want you to do this, like this very specific thing, and you have to do it. And having a degree of obviously technical aptitude, but also visual literacy to understand this is what they want, this is who this is for, and I'm gonna just make this like that. There's no shooting over or whatever. I mean, whatever could happen, this is what they want, and I'm just gonna execute this because I know how to do it that way.
Oh, as you mentioned that, so there's no room per se for personal your personal spin on anything. You more or less just come in to execute, or
No, absolutely. You have absolutely you have
license,
what's the word I'm looking for? Creative light, degree of creative license. on any shoot. Because as I was mentioning, for I don't want to say something like heads of state. Here's a perfect example, and it's gonna give examples on both sides. Lacoste or Coca-Cola. That's a better example. Coca-Cola has a brand guide. I would say Lacoste. Let me use Lacoste. Lacoste has a brand guide. And every time, well, I don't know, I haven't looked at their stuff lately, but their stuff, Lacoste, clean, white,
green,
the little logos, small text, whatever. But whatever brand it is will have a brand guide and a photo style guide. And you have to follow it. And at the end of the day, yeah, they could get, I don't know, one of the staff to do it. And they rent some equipment and, However, every photographer will come with their spin on it. It could be the smallest thing. It could be the photographer's ability to get a vibe or get certain reaction from the model, the photographer's model. So you always have a degree of creative license in those things, but you have to know. I think when you master what it is you're doing, then you could bring it to it. It's like Ronaldo. Ronaldo is good and could do, Arabona or whatever because he knows how to properly pass the ball and how to shoot. He didn't learn how to do, I don't know, a roly-poly or whatever. First, he learned the basics, learn how to do it impeccably, and then play it.
So then, well, I guess that kind of self-explanatory. I was going to ask, so then you need to have a particular style.
It helps. I mean, it definitely, it will always help, and I think that's something that will come naturally. I think it will definitely come naturally if you are shooting a lot.
Okay.
And I am talking to myself also. If you are shooting a lot, you develop a style.
Okay.
And the funny thing is, and I want to add this, Gregory Heisler said this: shoot make the pictures that you enjoy. Just keep doing it, and eventually somebody will pay you to make those images.
Okay. So essentially, shoot this stuff you want to get hired for. Well, yeah, you want to get hired for.
Not even that. No, I didn't say that.
Not even
shoot the stuff that you like, not the stuff that you think you're going to get hired for.
No, not the thing that you think you. Right. I think I explained myself incorrectly, but I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
All right, so let me grab another question. This is Rehan. Weird question.
Hey, I know Rehan. Yeah.
Hey. So, would you say and encourage aspiring photographers to seek out art, in quotes, in other forms, paintings, design, for example, to better inform their growth as photographers?
That's exactly what I was saying. I don't think that's a bad idea at all. I mean, that's definitely a plus. People kind of, I think, in the world of YouTube and a lot of technology, we are bombarded by I hope I don't butcher these guys' names. The guys who do reviews,
Frono's Photo.
That guy,
Yeah.
right? And all of these gimmicks, they are just here to sell. They're there to sell equipment.
Partners call them shrills.
I haven't watched one of those in a while because you know me, I'm not a gearhead. But yeah, art is really important. I think art is really, really important. That is not just important, it's or paramount. I think it's one of the key things. And when I mean art, and I saw Ryan put art in quotation marks. I think we are at a time in history where any art can inform another type of art, down to even sound art can inform something else. So photography, we just stop thinking about photography. I know we're talking about commercial photography, but that's why I say shoot whatever it is. Shoot whatever it is makes you happy. And once you do that enough and it looks amazing, somebody is going to ask you to shoot. I did, I think you all know, the images with
like the soap and the cutlass and
right, yes.
That's what you're referencing.
Right. And eventually somebody asked me some years ago to do that for an album, a music album cover. And that's what I'm talking about. I would have never thought that would have been our request. But you just shoot what you like to shoot, and people will ask you. And art, obviously, whether it is painting, sculpture, sonic, as in sound, whatever it is, explore, and it would genuinely, as I said, it will grow. You will grow as an artist, as a photographer, and in whatever craft it is that you want to continue.
Hey, Kibwe, this guy, Phil, Tobagonian. I have to own him because he's from the promised land. But this dude is always
he's one country though. Who's this about?
Let's agree to disagree. Yes. He's always coming some dissertation. So brace yourself. What would you say is more important with respect to establishing yourself as a commercial photographer? Networking or shooting content similar to the brand's identity? Or, I guess, simply both mixed with prayer and luck / obia? You had to put in the obia, partners.
I need to.
Is it again?
Yeah, that is a dissertation. That's much.
Yeah,
I need
producer?
to see. Can you bring that up so I can read it again? Right. That's not a double barrel. That's a Gatling gun kind of a.
Yeah, he always comes in some dissertation at this hour of the night.
Okay, so let's tackle this in parts. What do you say is more important with respect to establishing yourself as a commercial photographer, networking for shooting content similar to the brand identity? Okay, so first of all, nothing is wrong here. Networking is obviously massively important. A lot of the work that I get is from networking, like literally going, I don't know, where the closest watering hole is in Woodbrook and bouncing up the CD of, I don't know, whatever. So networking is obviously important. Shooting content similar to the brand's identity. Okay, so this is, again, getting back to shooting what you like. If the brand identity, so what I'm thinking is asking is, you ain't get a job yet. You're trying to get the eyes of this company.
Shoot stuff that they seem to like or represent.
If that is something you like, I mean, I guess cool. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If it's something you absolutely do not like, if it's something that is not genuinely you, people could see through that. You can see through that. And is that something you want to do? Like, is that, I mean, yeah, we end up in jobs, like, you end up shooting things that, just end up being a paycheck. But is that something you want to do, just be shooting what other people like? Probably not the best thing.
Best use of your time.
Best use of your time and your brain space. Because then it will just become quite unpleasant after a while. All right.
So then,
sorry.
Go ahead. You can go ahead.
In working with international organizations, where sometimes you have to bid for the contract, or at least from my experience, Do you ever find yourself tempted to lowball or quote in order to secure? And all right, my very short answer is no. Right? Sorry, I have to ask. Can you bring the question back up? I always want to be sure I'm not answering the questions incorrectly. Yeah, I would say my very short answer is no. You have to know your worth. You have to know your worth, and you also have to know who it is you who it is you're bidding for, who is the potential client. Yeah, because our international clients doesn't really mean anything. There's international clients that are NGOs, or you're very aware of they're very frugal with their budget, and you know that. So you don't want to shoot out of their reach. If you know your worth and you know your worth, and I can answer that, nobody else can answer that. You are the only person who can answer that. I don't ever endorse lowballing, because you lowball and you screw up everybody else, because they're gonna be like the other guy, whoever they choose, he will have to come with a lower price, and then the next time they want to do something, they're gonna get a lower price and a lower price, and then their competitor or other companies, people are just gonna ask for lower and lower prices. And I mean that is another conversation, but I don't ever endorse lowballing at all.
So at what point does pricing come up for you? Do you bring that up early in the dance, or?
Yeah, it's just straight up like I mean, it depends. Again, some people are kind of know what it is they're working with. So I would say, or if I don't know, I'll just ask, so what is your budget? I think that that's the first thing. Everybody should learn this. Just ask, what is your budget? What is your budget? That's real simple.
It's a factor of business, so just ask.
Yeah, just get over it, because if they sometimes people, you will be surprised, people will just tell you, well, all right, we're working with, I don't know, whatever brand, or there's a small company, so we only have, I don't know, 5 or 10 or 15 or whatever it is they want to do. It's like, all right, well, we'll scale accordingly. If it is you have X amount of money, this is what you can get.
Correct, is right. We have Rehan with a follow-up. What are your thoughts on the paradigm shift in the current perception of, quote, being a photographer in influencer culture? Now that everyone is a brand, what makes commercial photography commercial anymore? Wow.
I
take that away.
Now, valid question. I'm gonna tread this real careful. One of my thoughts, this is cultural trends change, culture is ordinary, and it just changes. If you want to be part of that, if you are comfortable being a part of that, it's fine. It's not something you could really force. This is my thoughts, right? Because he's asking what are my thoughts on this shift. I think there's definitely always space for something else. There's always space for something else. So, yeah, do whatever it is. I think I really don't know how to answer it other than it's fine. Let people do what they want to do. Let people enjoy things,
So essentially, if they consider themselves a brand or a commercial entity, then you just charge them or treat them accordingly.
the the photographer
Well,
or
because I
the
think
influencer person.
yeah, the influencer, because remember they consider themselves
Mhm.
brands. So he was asking what makes commercial anymore if these persons consider themselves entities. If well, that's how I interpreted it to be.
Nah, nothing wrong with that. Geez, all these names kind of. I was trying to give an example of these guys, Joshua. Kiki, what's these guys' name again? Somebody in the comments must know these guys. Joshua Kiki. And they were, oh, what is their brand? They, these are days of Tumblr, and it's two black guys who came up with a brand, but they were photographers. But they also did they also did design and branding and uh, just establishing different brands and creating identities. And they became a brand themselves, and that I guess they spawned from it was Tumblr specifically, and they became a brand themselves, and they became an agency, and now they are huge uh, creative consultants. None wrong with that. I don't see anything wrong with that. Look at Virgil. Virgil, Virgil, right? Virgil, look at the history of Virgil. What Virgil was? Virgil handles in everything. Like playfully, skateboard, design, photography. I started following Virgil. He, I didn't really know he was, and he was like, he just used to post these flyers for parties. And I was in the UK at the time in London, and he posted something, and I realized, oh shit, this is right on the road. So we went, and we get to see Patronada and most stuff and stuff. And what is he? He's a creative in all forms, and he's our brand. Okay. Nothing is wrong with that. If you're good at whatever shit you're doing, do it. Do study with other people.
Any other comment? Any questions?
Yes, this question was, guys. Yes. Have you ever been faced with creative burnout? What have you done to overcome this? This hits very, 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 very close to me. Creative burnout is real. Definitely during this pandemic, I have hit a wall, and I've been scraping to get over this wall creatively. So creative burnout is real. What do I do to get over it? I used to take my opportunities in the UK to be inspired by things, but I can't do that right now because of certain situations, getting there. But for me, yeah, I don't want to say traveling because that's a very, I'm aware that that's a kind of privileged thing to say. And it's not like I go tripping or something. My family lives in the UK. Okay. But what I do, one of the things that I do actually is collaborate, work with other people. That is a massive help for me. And they don't necessarily
within the genre, outside of the genre.
Right. So not necessarily. I mean, coming back to music again. I genuinely do love the art of musician. I just love the obia that it is do. I really do. And I have been, like this year, this is a perfect example. This year I was privileged to roll with Kisha from Just Now and those guys to a session with Ket, with Duala and them. And
Okay.
it was when they made the song Is We, right? And seeing how that happened, and this one singing and that one singing, and Etienne came with the horn, and because you're seeing the gritty, you're seeing where somebody is like, this not singing right, and I thinking like, wait, is there some tension here or whatever, but no, this is how great things are made, and you see how other people, the trials and tribulations that other people go through to create things, and that genuinely helped me in pushing forward for the next few months to create things, and it helped me even so I ended up photographing the producer to shout, and it helped me come up with something to shoot him. So working with other creators really helps a lot of time. I also sometimes work used to the pandemic alongside some film crews like Ryan and them, Ryan Lee. We were there once, and that is really wild and interesting to see how they create things. All we see at the end of the day is fancy art and the night lights and the cuts and the edits. Well, sexy, but you can see like there were things happening. I don't know if you recognize on that shoot. There were things happening, and Ryan is a professional. Ryan was like, yeah, whatever. And in my head, I'm not a film director. I like, yo, it's not real cool to this, but okay. And it worked out.
Choosing the battles, I
Things
guess.
like that, those experiences, those experiences assist in getting over that burnout. But burnout is real, and yeah, it's real
Do you
stuff. Yeah, I get you. What happens if you lowball and still can't deliver? Wait, hold on. You lowball, but you can't deliver.
and you still can't execute what you indicated you can at the price point that you
Yeah, but okay.
generously offer yourself at.
No, I want to logically understand this. Somebody says, I want this, and you say, okay, I'm going to do it for this.
Yeah, 1,500 is our usual low ball price. You did for 1,500 when it's supposed to be
Yeah, but
20K to get the job done. I do it for 15, and still at 15, you were unable to deliver what the client wants.
that sounds like a you problem. I really don't understand. Probably I'm slow. My sincere apologies. I really don't understand if
Somebody say call it suicide.
call it.
Call it suicide. Professional suicide. Or more or less.
Yeah,
But
like that is a serious thing though, and I just want to mention that. And we have had conversations about it where sometimes I get called to clean up messes. And yeah, that's cool. Honestly, sometimes I can't do it. It's just logistically impossible to do some of the things because somebody does something and exhaust their budget, and then obviously wants it to be done for much less. I want to tell people like I don't know what he meant by he can't deliver, but there is no can't deliver. That's my thing. It have no like always try to always tell people have as hard as it might be sometimes, have some compassion for clients because they don't always know what it is this whole photography thing is all about. And sometimes when people don't know things, they become defensive and probably a little strong arm. And you have to know how to suavemente situations so that people, it is like, all right, that's cool. This is how we're going to do this. And I think transparency is very important. But let people understand what it is you do, what manage expectations. I can do this, I can't do that. It have no, all right, we're gonna do this, and at the end, you didn't deliver. That is really, that looks bad on real people, not just you.
Understood.
Because somebody walks away with the notion that photographers are trash.
What traps?
Yeah.
Traps. On the last point,
Rihanna, you could just text me now, because like
so Rihan, building off your music example from your experience, what are some alternative creative fields that marry well with photography that can work on a project? That we can work on a project to overcome.
Is that trap question?
Yeah, because I mean, not actually. Go ahead and answer. I'll ask my question after.
Pardon?
No, I said go ahead and answer, or you're not gonna fall for that entrapment.
No. The kind of Can you bring back up let me get the last part of the question again. What are some alternative creative fields that marry well with photography that we can work on our project to overcome? It's something I want to think about.
Okay.
It's definitely, not something I could just
Spit.
because everybody brings a different energy to whatever the creative skill is. And it's to make that work. You can't have two blind people mucking around trying to make something. That sounds very frustrating. So it's something I'll definitely open to, and we can talk about it.
Okay. Because my question was with regards to the whole burnout facet. Do you see like personal projects also being a way to deal with burnout?
Sorry, I'm looking for personal projects as a way to deal with burnout. Yeah, definitely. Personal projects, definitely. Because personal projects, as I said, is something you definitely like, and you could, according to what it is, you could do it whenever you like. It's not a deadline necessarily. Some personal projects take years. And you like it more. You're operating on your terms, within your parameters. So I think it is always advised that as a photographer, you should have at least one personal project. It's sometimes very hard to find, especially when you're starting off, because you'll think you like something, but you really like it, and you just kind of end up copying what you see somebody else do or whatever. So it may take a while, but once found, it definitely is the way to get over burnout.
To be honest, I've always heard of the personal project thing, and to be honest, I've thought about it, but there's nothing that comes to mind to me to be
what
a
is it you like to do
project.
other than photography? Hey, he's a hater. Anything.
Well, I can't say. Well, for me, to not be that guy. When I'm not in photography mode, I really really like anime.
Really like what?
Anime, it's a thing.
Perfect. Do you know anyone else who likes anime?
Yeah, actually, our group, we have a whole heap of anime lovers in it. That's a G.A.S Crew. So we always share what's the next binge worthy anime, and we share accordingly. But I guess what sorry, go ahead.
No, finish it because you're informing me. So
because what I was doing, I guess, was pigeonholing the whole personal project to be something photography related. And I guess listening to you today
Yeah.
is marrying something else.
Well, actually, I was also pigeonholing it into photography related, but you did better than me. I know now again, pandemic, people getting together might be an issue, but that's interesting. Our group, how how they all socialize, and it may be things that you may think quirky, like just shoot what. When I say shoot what you like, not only shoot what, like you shoot something and it looks cool, and every time you shoot it, it looks cool. No, shoot what you like, as in you like your family, shoot your family.
What
It doesn't
tons
have
of
to
those.
be. Sorry, what?
Tons of images, tons of images.
Right.
Obscene.
And begin to create images with, figure out how to do it. Or probably you have done it. You you love your family and you will shoot your family with love. And those images would be the most beautiful images ever. Trust me. Whatever it is, just shoot that thing. And the thing is, like, you won't, is a few things. Either A, you'll figure out a new way to actually shoot and it may stray into another direction. Or after shooting for a year, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 12, you end up with a collection of images that tell a story. And just that story in itself. Once you see a style, you see similarities, and you see a narrative. That's a story right there. And I mean, it could be a family, it could be the group, um, the anime group, it could be anything you like. Just keep shooting.
Well, let me call in the guys and find out if they have any personal.
Oh, I totally
projects.
forgot to have other people. Right.
Yeah, it's happened to us.
No, right, yay.
The man forget about us, you know. He's
He's always on mute though. Oh, right. Here we go.
Yeah, so Sion is the residential anime repository. You'd be like, hey, Sion, where's the latest one?
Let me fix my frame in here to match up everybody.
I find Owen was moving real greedy, but I mean,
What do you
you had
mean?
keep me for a whole hour going on. It's like,
What do you mean?
you gotta beg the man.
The man was doing real good. He was doing great.
Yeah,
Well, I was doing the job
Owen
I
have
was
to tell the
contracted to
part,
do. I mean, yeah. and that's my homie and things, so you know how that is going now. Right?
Yeah, man, that was great. I mean, I learned some stuff, I picked up some stuff. I don't know about you, Sion. I want to ask a question, but do you have anything you want to say, Sion?
No, I'm good. I appreciated what was said tonight, and I learned a lot, just like you, Conrad, in the whole aspect of commercial and as an individual person as well too. Though, not that I would ever go into the field because I find that just too much stress and trouble, and I can't deal with that kind of crap right now. But
you know what's funny? You know what's funny? I want to interject.
Sure.
What is funny, Sion, is you are wedding.
Yeah, which is more work.
Exactly. I have absolutely actually never not say it. Look, I'll be real, because I do have wedding stuff on my website, right?
Right.
But
yeah, I saw that.
Those are people I know.
Like friends and family or something like that.
Or somebody relatively close. I don't I don't count myself as a wedding photographer.
Okay.
Because it is a lot of headache sometimes that I do not have. I really had to watch what I'm saying here. I don't have the patience for.
Okay.
Wait, and we established we could kind of use bad words on the.
Rated R. Rated R.
No. It's not about it's not about swearing. It's about context and.
It's creatives here, so I think a lot of us would understand the frustration, if anything. Oh, quick question. I heard you
Mhm.
keep referencing music, and I heard in the comments you talk about hip hop a lot. Who is your favorite artist? I'm just curious. And do you draw like a parallel to their creativity? Like,
Favorite one, I don't really have a one, but I was born, again, I really go on date myself. I was born
We
in
old,
81.
we old
So,
school.
right. I've
those say
no
Run
Kane
DMC.
song. There's no Kane on, well, no. I am within the realm of Nas,
Okay.
Ghost,
Ghostface Killer,
that, yeah,
Wu-Tang
that,
Clan, Tribe
oh
Called
yeah,
Wu-Tang.
Quest, a
I
Tribe
mean,
Called
See, and
Quest.
impressing me here, man.
You know what I mean?
I mean,
I only look Caucasianish, Chinese, half Chinese, Caucasian, but I am black to the heart and the soul.
I hearing some names. All
What do
right.
you mean? I like my old school. I really do like my old school dub, 90s dub and stuff like that.
All right.
I have a whole Spotify playlist. Right? Yeah. Sorry, it's not me. Yeah, go ahead.
no, but
All
that's
right.
what I grew up. That's mainly what I grew up on.
Mm.
Sneaking tapes from a older cousin and a friend whose brother was older, so we were listening to things that probably should not have been listening to.
Right.
Yeah,
Best kind of
and that
music.
yeah. So,
Nice. Old school. All right, cool. I was just curious as we were drawing any parallels. I'd just like to.
oh, that was deep.
more
Oh, I
also.
thought it was something more than that.
No. Let's keep it simple. I was asking about like if you got any inspiration from them as well. I mean, from the artistic side.
Oh,
If it sets you in a mood, or again, it just gives you off that vibe.
It's a catalyst.
it depends. Like, yeah, I mean, sometimes according to what it is I'm doing, like, yeah, I will. I listen to now. I listen to everything. Like my my iTunes, or well, my Spotify goes all over. Like really all over
Country and all.
not so much country at all now. From I used to have a same from Sizzler to Slipknot, basically. Silent. Nobody knows.
You
what I'm
guys,
talking
you guys
about.
know what Slipknot? You guys don't know what Slipknot is? You guys, oh my
Of
god,
course,
you
you know
need.
it's Slipknot.
What you mean you
Yeah,
Conrad?
but
You know what
I
Slipknot?
can't
You know
really
what Slipknot?
show. Yeah,
You
but the
can't
inner
show.
white boy can't really come out. And, yeah, I mean,
Look, yeah, they have Bruce. They have Bruce so confused right now.
Yeah,
Yeah, trying to do some low key research, but I guess it was not low key now.
Bruce is like, what?
What
Slipknot?
is
I hear the
Slipknot?
keyboard running off in the background.
Yeah, and like on the
Yeah,
sidebar
quick,
say
it's not-
Siri, what is
Yeah,
a Slipknot?
You know,
Google that and you will never.
yeah,
talk
he
about
would be
it.
like, what? And to hear the sound duality, good.
I mean,
Good.
I'm not familiar with the catalog, but I know who the,
Oh,
the
okay,
group are.
okay.
Yeah.
You would like them. They wear friendly clown mask and stuff like that.
They play
like
very
show.
wholesome music.
Yes, very wholesome
Um,
music for white rage. I mean white white rage.
I'll stick to
Right.
Beastie Boys. Thank you.
Oh god. Intergalactic, planetary, intergalactic.
For this
Bruce,
it's a
Bruce,
karaoke session.
Bruce, you
Let
know
me,
about that?
No, not a clue. Not a clue.
All
So
right.
so Keebs, we wrapping up. So before we exit, I want to do a rapid fire session. Just have 1 second to respond. Nothing more than that. Anything else, you take more than a second, it's disqualified.
Was it prize way? You had him on doing
Yeah,
all
no
this work.
prize, just rapid fire.
You
Just
did.
trying to.
Right?
Yeah, no prize. You want to give him a prize? No prize.
You know, he will probably get bragging rights after.
You get a second invite.
Now
Yeah.
you're already coming back. We had a converse.
Oh, it's a quiz.
About, yeah. It's like this or that, and you choose.
Okay.
But it's just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 questions. Small time.
Ooh.
Okay.
So, who's our
So-
exam?
Relax now.
Understand?
So yeah.
Mhm.
So quickly,
Let's go.
DC or Marvel?
Marvel,
All right. Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars,
All right. Doubles or pillow?
Double.
All right. Who's the best doubles vendor in South?
I can't say because it's actually somebody I go by, so I can't say because I'm low key doubles. I don't want everybody tells me that.
What kind of things? All right. We're
The
gonna do that
man's
one off
protecting his
camera.
doubles.
Yeah, that's off camera. All right. Full frame or medium format?
Full frame or medium format doesn't matter.
Cell phone.
That's not
Oh
even
my
an option,
God.
guy. I'm to you. Eh?
Well, I answer the question.
Godox or Pro Photo?
Godox. What?
Alien
Yeah.
bees.
Godox or Pro Photo?
Sunlight.
Sunlight. That's not even an option.
Sunlight
Yeah,
just kill
close.
COVID.
Close.
Exactly.
Close one. All right. Last one. Sony or Canon?
Cookie boom.
Somebody just exit this man feed. We're having some technical difficulties. I wanted Phil to hear the answer. You set me up there, Kibwe, man. They set me up there.
I'm answering your question.
What's
Yeah, but Cookie Broom wasn't a
What kind of
response.
conduct?
Wasn't
Go back in my old old Instagram post. I have a post that you all would like.
Could we pull it up?
You could. I should be still there. Where I have all my gear set out, and there's a cookie boom there.
And how much megapixel this Cookie Broom putting out now?
Pardon?
How much megapixels the Cookie Broom putting out?
Cookie boom is life. If you understand what cookie boom is,
Hey, the cookie broom is for Jerry, and you know how much blight a cookie broom could get rid of.
that is exactly why I stay calm.
My grandfather used to Jerry us back in the day when he was alive. He was a real Indian Madras Indian kind of guy, and my parents used to always bring us to him every so often to Jerry. Conrad, you ever get Jerry before?
Nah, I get licks. Knockout?
That's a former Jerry. Yeah. You get
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
that's
technically. Technically. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Pulling up. There you go.
Yeah, we
Who's
do
this?
our
This is-
research.
Yeah. Zoom in.
Yeah,
Very good. No, that's the cutlass.
No,
That's
the tree line.
keep going.
All right. You have a good catalog here, though.
Keep
Yeah,
going.
he does.
Wait, where's the self-portrait?
Yeah, Prince of Zamunda.
Yeah, man.
Where is that? Should be coming up. No, keep going.
Here
No,
we are.
not that.
Not
this
cookie.
That's one. No,
A special cookie, another cookie.
that is the cookie, but I'll give in
the
context.
image references.
Right there in the middle.
The What's in My Bag
the
Cookie, the Cookie Broom edition.
What I'm there.
I'm blind, guys. Talk to me. Yeah.
Yeah, scroll up a little bit. Where you saying?
There's a delay. There's a little delay.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a delay.
Yeah. Well, that was one of the questions. I guess we got to it. What's in my camera bag?
Oh,
Okay.
Cookie
That
Broom.
is-
So, would that fitting in the Westcott bag or?
I always have
Well-
again. You can't really tell you where those
All right.
I didn't
Can't
know
have
I
clean
like
images unless you have a Cookie Broom.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
That's
the cleanly sensor.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. You wanna bet some person's gonna be pulling up on the photo shoot with a cookie broom now?
yeah.
A branded cookie
This is,
broom.
this is the hallmark of a working professional.
It's a
That is
tie
my
with twine in
credential.
it. It would tie with a cannon strap.
Lord.
Yeah.
Quick question though. Besides the cookie broom, what's mandatory in your camera bag? What you must have? One thing you can't leave home without. Besides the
actual
camera.
Oh.
I know you're
Besides
coming with
that.
that.
What's on other thing? What, like, even if it's a lens? So I don't really.
Okay, besides everything in this little box right here. The camera, the lens hood, just in case you want to be technical. And I'm sure there's SD card in here or CF card.
Pocket knife.
Pocket knife. Alright.
Oh yeah, that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
a multi
All
tool.
right.
All right, partners. Well, it was great having you. It was
Thank
wonderful.
you very much. It was
Yeah,
good. Good talk.
yeah, man. Great up. You know, we had to continue that at some point,
Yes, yes,
and
yes.
then we'll see what happens or how soon we could get you back for that second edition. So if persons want to reach out to you, how can they? What are your handles?
Yeah, as it says here, that's my
At Kibwe Brathwaite.
Instagram. That is the safest, easiest place to catch me.
So you want
Um,
people to slide in the DMs.
well, it is a professional account, so you know,
Reach out.
do what you may. I am also, yeah, I think that's the best way to get me. I am on other social media platforms, but I think this is the best way to get me, or via email, which is probably not on. I'm not too sure if it's on. It's there on my Yeah, it should be. Yeah, it should have an email link
The
on my
website.
Instagram.
Okay, yeah,
Well, the website, but
the
also on
website.
Instagram, it have contact via email. Because yeah, this is a professional account that I have, not a personal account. So yeah, that's the easiest way to catch me.
Understood. So even if people looking for mentorship or just to reach out for professional work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Two questions. I got a
That is
yeah. Understood. All right, Keeps. Thanks again a million. Thanks a million for carving out the time to meet with us here on CCS. And we look forward
yes.
to having you in the very immediate future.
Hey,
So,
you're being very specific there. Like
when I
very
say very immediate future, I mean, well, provided you're not a jet set or nothing like that.
well, with
So,
technology, it can be, done
it's not no
anyhow.
scene. It's not no scene.
Yeah, I'll just have to check with my agent though, so my
All right.
management, sorry. So
So we are
um,
gatekeepers now. All right. Yeah.
always, always, always. But thank you very much again, Conrad, Dion, obviously you, Owen. Thank you very much for sitting through this whole. I learned some things today with, well, yesterday, last night, with setting up your
Stream. Yeah.
camera to stream. So yeah, thanks to you guys. Thanks, Kyle, aka Morgan Freeman, somewhere
Yes,
about.
thank you very much for coming on.
Yeah, and feel free.
Hmm?
I just
Yeah.
not more
I
available.
think that's Kyle saying hello. Oh,
Ah,
you're welcome.
A
Yeah.
weird way of showing warmth.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks again, guys, and yeah, it'll be fine, great. Just let me know when I can make it up.
Of course, man. Thanks again.
Of course,
all
yeah.
right. Pleasant
Take
evening,
care.
Pally. Take care, man.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Bye. Whew. That was a
Ooh, that
nice
was
one.
fun. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
man.
It was. It was. It was. It
It
was. It
was
was.
definitely have to have him on again. And well, I mean, what could we do next though? Who we're gonna have next week, or what we're gonna do next week?
Mm,
I
Mouse
mean,
glitching.
you could always pitch it to the comments as usual.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
what
guess.
people have to say.
You see what the comments saying.
but you guys actually brought up mentorship and the importance of mentorship. It would be nice to actually have a discussion around that as well.
Session.
To
Oh yeah, definitely.
hmm
Probably we would have to reach out to our
I would
mentors.
definitely be the worst mentor for anybody because I
Why
feel as
though?
though I feel as though
Waiting to hear the rest of this.
all right.
What's the
Let me.
bullshit there? What's the bullshit there? What's the bullshit?
I know bullshit. I know bullshit. I know bullshit. I swear to God, I am not bullshitted. But I feel I might be a really bad mentor. Case in point, look at Cassius. Cassius is crazy because of my mentorship.
But you're doing
I
crazy
don't.
well though.
He's
The
doing
man
crazy
doing
well.
some mad
He's
stuff.
even doing better than me. So in well,
Paul
I should
Markov a
say so,
really
right?
excellent sensei. That is the
And I'm
people
like,
artistic
you know
class.
what?
Yeah.
But then that's Cassius. Cassius already had established himself, so he kind of knew, he understood a lot of stuff. So he was just getting more of the business side of things from me. But if like a real fresh person coming out and be like, hey, Chinese boy, I wanna be your
I was shadow you.
mentor, yeah, I'd be like, no problem. But here what? You're gonna get in real trouble. You're going it ain't gonna be as like drill sergeant kind of thing, but I'm gonna get you in real trouble,
I'm sure
especially
people
with
gonna slide in your DMs. What you would
I
say?
I don't. I mean, like they want to
What you
come.
would
If
say?
let's say they come to me to hey, I want to come
Was
and see how you just operate on a
what's
wedding.
the first thing you're gonna do? You're gonna tell them how to hold a light stand?
Hell no. I'd be like, it has some like just like
You
point
know,
your
long we trying
subject.
to get this man to use
Just
strobes.
that the sun over there. Look, the sun over there. That is shade.
Uh-huh.
Make sure the sun behind them and just shoot or just do what you want with that. But I
Oh,
feel as though I would more or less influence them in some bad shit and be like, yo, where you bring that speed light for? Nobody wanna. We bring that for? You bring that to what? To
Tevin, man.
stress yourself? No.
Uh-huh.
But I feel as though I might make them drink alcohol.
Oh
I
Cheese
might
man.
and
make
leeches.
them. I
Cream
might make
leech.
them dance.
You make a
And
saint a sinner, you know.
I will make them like real flirt with a lot of the
The
help and
bridesmaids and stuff.
bridesmaids. I mean, you have to enjoy
Or
yourself
groomsmen,
somehow.
depend.
Thanks to Tevin.
What's Evan say? This
Tevin
is
from
real. Oh,
Toko.
okay. Okay, from
That's
Toko
what
side.
it
I want if you know my brother-in-law, the artist.
Kishan
But I
Rock.
feel
Oh, okay.
but I feel wow. But I feel as though I might be a real bad mentor.
Nah man, I sure we do well.
Mm.
Rehan.
Possibility.
Rehan is another
Yeah, he real came through though.
yeah. You
Sean
ever met
came through as
Rehan?
well. Mm-mm.
Yeah, Sean came through. Rehan have a similar personality to yourself in the sense
For
that
real?
yeah, love
He,
marketing.
okay.
Yeah, a little more clean though. And yeah, he does swear.
Oh, okay. I thought you. Okay.
You say you can fix
Don't
that?
swear.
Fix what?
Photography. He actually had a studio. I don't know if he's still running his studio up in the east. Rehan.
You rule
Oh,
and
what is that
importance of
possible
photography.
topic in fields outside the creative industry? Is there a thing? Is that a thing? Important photography outside the field of creative industry. I wonder what is that? What examples would that be like?
Oh damn. COVID closed them down. I hope you make it back, man.
Yeah.
Example of let's see it again. Possible topic: the role and importance of photography in fields outside of the creative industries.
What are the fields
Yeah.
outside?
I could think like basically that would be our customers if you have a corporate customer. So technically they are outside of photography, but they do require the service
He
for,
said in
for
film.
photography and film.
You mean like a DP, which is a
BTS type stuff.
director of
Director of
photography.
photography.
That
Behind the
is a.
scenes type stuff.
But the thing is,
I know they
our
do BTSs and stuff. Go
but
ahead.
Conrad, you could answer this. Is our film industry in Trinidad and Tobago? I mean, definitely Kyle could answer this.
I
Is
wish
our
Kyle would just come in on the voice at least.
yeah, but he might
Uh-huh.
come in. Is our film industry in Trinidad and Tobago? Because I remember we had a big discussion about this in the group at one point in time. Where
Right.
is it at right now, and why isn't it at a certain standard or level where we constantly see five movies a year in local theaters and stuff like that?
But that's loaded, first
Yeah,
and
that,
foremost.
Yeah.
I myself, I'm not sure if I'm qualified to speak on it because I'm
Okay.
relatively fresh in the industry. I've almost been allowed in,
Right.
if you could even say so. But from what I have seen thus far, budget is a huge hurdle in
For
film
real?
because it's very expensive to get in. It's only now
Wow.
becoming relatively affordable. So for somebody to get it, they're gonna most likely need to, if not get very creative. We now have phones doing some really good quality and that kind of thing. Get creative with it. I believe Film TT and all had a contest recently, and one segment was with the cell phone. Yeah.
I
So
mean that is cool and everything. It's just that doing stuff like that feels real
it feels
gimmicky or
gimmicky.
amateur. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like
But
I want to have like a full industry. Like what is
a
our industry
full
doing?
fledged industry, that would require some serious planning. I mean, I have hopes for the industry. I would love to see it grow. I suspect again a lot of it has to do with money. I've heard talk of gatekeepers over the years.
Oh, for
I've
real?
heard talks. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to go into any specifics because again, I'm young in the industry. I don't want to come off as an authority in the industry and mislead persons because again, I'm new, so I'm still learning.
Right.
But I've heard talk of gatekeepers. I've heard issues with funds, raising funds. I've heard issues with actually getting. See, any response would be highly nuanced, but budget and infrastructure are always a significant factor. That's Kyle in the background.
That's
Yeah,
Kyle.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's
You
Kyle.
answer that. You answer sentence construction.
Yeah, I
Yeah, yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah,
come
yeah.
on, man. That's Kyle.
Because I was
So
wondering, I was like, that's not in the comments. Where that comes from?
it has a lot of factors, but let's just say at any point in time, I think with the right approach, we could easily, I wouldn't say easily, but we could overcome them.
For real.
What would definitely help is if we could probably recognize a single body that would act on behalf of persons in the industry. So it's almost like if we would have a union.
That would
So
be
yeah, that would be awesome. Even if for photographers, that would help elevate the standard, just like what we're doing here. A community that's coming out with the idea that we are going to help protect not only the interests of persons in the industry, but the actual industry itself. So when we are going, or when persons are approaching individuals for funding, there will already be a playbook by which you approach those persons, and you will be able to hopefully meet the persons who could effect change, whether it's financially or even politically. So think of, for example, um, recently with the waiver of tariffs on cameras. That was a huge thing for photographers and videographers as well. But the way in which it was done, a lot of persons are only now finding out. Even on our live stream, persons are asking, is so and so the case? And they are finding out. And because of the lack of information and a proper organization to present the information to persons, the flow of info isn't there. And again, persons, the stakeholders in the industry are possibly losing out on opportunities that could very well benefit them in the short term. Yes, you save money there, but even the long term, you're now able to invest more in the necessary equipment to again increase your level of production and possibly even put us on the world stage. So um, recently, I saw another person got a red Komodo in Trinidad. So that's, from my understanding, the second red Komodo, one of the most affordable reds you could get right now, new.
okay.
Imagine if we were to have sufficient equipment for, I mean, readily available. I'm pushing for this as well, but let's say we would have sufficient equipment to pitch a film to Hollywood, and not just Hollywood. Imagine regionally we could develop an industry that could stand on its own and fund its own to the point where we now have, just like there's Nollywood, sorry, and Bollywood, we now have Caribbean. I don't want to say
Trinidad.
any. It just sounds wrong, right?
Trinidad. Let me get some Trinidad there too.
But yeah, imagine to the point where we could literally sustain an industry like that right here regional. We no longer
Correct.
have to go to private individuals to ask them to
Will
fund
be
it.
that LA for the Caribbean.
Yeah, imagine that. We have Jamaica already doing amazing stuff.
Mm.
They already set the path. Imagine now if we could have the entire Caribbean involved. One unified CARICOM. As Tevin said, Collywood.
Quick question.
That sounds like a weed.
Quick question.
Like marijuana.
Do we want government to help us get there? Because I feel as though if we get government to help us, they would come with some real ridiculous restrictions or something like that.
And this is my issue. A lot of persons are waiting for the government to do this and that.
Right.
Sure, the government can put legislation or policies in place to assist in the, how could I put it?
Acquiring.
They could expedite the process.
Okay.
They could remove barriers of trade,
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
will.
that's exactly.
You understand? So
All
imagine
the
now
cameras coming in free, but the lenses getting taxed.
the lenses again tax. We have the whole. This is literally just tariffs you're talking about there. That's just tariffs. Tariffs is like a small part. Sure, we just talk about cost and the budget and everything. That's still a small part of the entire issue. Imagine now, every person who is a member of this industry, like I said, if you're part of the union, any person who is a member automatically gets free movement. I mean, we already have free movement with CARICOM, right? Technically, there's free movement. Yeah, but let's say once you're a member of this union, you are able to move between Trinidad and Jamaica, and even have, let's say, because our airlines are for the most part government funded, you're even able to access cheaper tickets, providing you meet whatever requirements. Persons are going to be
or capacity.
even for cargo, exactly. So when we need to move equipment, things are just going to become so much easier. And now we could trade information with, I keep using Jamaica because they seem to be doing the best in the industry in the Caribbean. Now we could trade information with them, trade projects as well. I don't know about the political side of it. When I say political, in terms of Jamaicans and Trinidadians in film, how they actually interact, because again, I'm relatively young. But imagine if that flow was allowed throughout the entire Caribbean. All of this would just help for the entire industry to move forward. But of course, it would require some effort, one, and two, it may not be in the best interest of some persons. Understand? Because they already hold control over their little pool, if you will, or their little pond.
So what do you think would be the catalyst to create this industry that we wonder, but we envision in, or that you kind of explain in this, like, I know it starts off with an idea, but what would be the one thing that would definitely get that shit started, if you could identify that in
I would
your
say it's already begun, the internet
Mhm.
age,
Mhm.
that knock down barriers. No longer do you have to go to school to learn film. I mean, it's ideal. You would be amongst your peers. The flow of information is direct, and you'll be focused on that. Well, hopefully. But the internet allowed for persons to gain knowledge that they no longer have to exchange money and significant amount of time just for that. You could literally do this in your free time, especially if it's passion. And let's be honest, when you have passion for something, you tend to stick to it. But the internet, again, remove a lot of the barriers. Now we have technology progressing at such a rate where, again, a cell phone
Price of
today,
entry.
yeah, the price to entry is significantly lower, the barrier to entry. So your iPhone 13 Pro Max that just dropped could probably give a 1980s or 1990s professional cinema camera a run for its money. Have you ever watched a 1990s movie? Have you ever watched when last you watched Back to the Future?
Still holds up though. That's a
It
good
looks
film.
great.
It looks real
Lighting
good.
is key.
Yeah.
I always emphasize lighting.
But
But
What was that? What you emphasize again?
lighting is life. I love lighting, but look at the quality of old film. It starts to fall apart on that 4K TV. So again, technology has reached a point where you are running out of excuses as to why you can't create something.
Facts.
Lights are becoming much more affordable. No longer do you have to invest in these big, heavy, hot tungsten lights with the suitable stands and the grip team to run it with gloves, and you no longer need to do all that. You could get by with.
you could basically create something as a one man
Exactly.
show.
I mean, it probably wouldn't air on TV, because it involves a
You
lot more
don't
moving
necessarily
parts.
need TV for that anymore.
Bingo, you hit it there on the head there, Bruce. We have YouTube. We
Yep,
no
and
longer need to go to TV for persons
yeah,
to experience our content. Look at photographers. When last did you go on Flickr?
Never.
couple
And
years
that
ago.
was like 10 years ago. 10 years ago, if you were big on Flickr, you were big. Now, Instagram is it. And even Instagram is it's like it's on its way out of the door. So imagine that technology has moved at such a pace where we no longer need, again, certain persons for us, for others to experience our craft. So, I mean, do we need to actually wait on the government? They would help, but I don't see them being the sole reason as to why we can't be doing stuff. But definitely a unified front. We now have CCS here. We are probably just a small cog in the wheel. Caribbean creative space, and we're asking persons to join the group. That way, we will be able to again build a community. And it's not about us, the guys we're seeing on the panel here. It's literally about you as a creative coming
Yeah,
in with your input.
and to share ideas and where you think the country, or when I mean the country, I mean like the industry that we are in,
Creative space.
could go into, or where we need to actually steer the ship, so to speak, would be nice.
Exactly, and
Hmm.
it's so simple at times, but yet we make it difficult, especially when we look at our individual, our own. We just want to seek our own interests, not realizing that by simply communicating with your brother or your sister, and again establishing a community, it could reach much further. But
Hmm.
I mean, we could go on for the rest of the night. I don't want
That's true.
Yeah.
to go on and
But
on.
a good topic for next week could be. I know I said mentorship, but I kind of made myself sound stupid with that. But
No
No,
guy,
man,
how you can say that?
good point.
We referenced that even today in
Yeah.
the interview. It is
mm,
a viable topic.
it would be nice to
Substantial.
identify like who are some of the people that we could ask to be mentors in Trinidad and Tobago under or whatever. Would be nice to have a list. Hey, do you want to be part of a mentorship program? No? All
Yeah,
right,
Yeah.
going
and
from you.
even CCS could provide the platform for
Yeah, that's what I
persons with
mean.
the skill set, persons who trying to attain that level to meet, greet, have that warm welcome, and take the industry
Mm-hmm.
further.
But
Because
a big question is, are you willing to pay for mentorship?
Oh,
Are
I
you
would.
willing to pay?
yeah,
I
I
would
will.
with my time.
I think we should talk about mentorship next week. That
Okay.
should be
It's a good
that should
topic.
be the topic.
I may
Because
be listening more than talking though.
nah, yeah, relax yourself.
No, I'm
Yeah.
serious because I always I tell you all in the group, I always learn from you all. I mean, you might
And
seem
vice
like moves,
versa.
yeah, but you literally you have to learn from your environment, right?
Mm, I
Sure, but we're
agree.
discussing the whole facet of mentorship, its relevance, why we need it, how we should seek it.
Who to look for or
Yeah,
what to look for in a mentor.
that's it. Because
Yeah.
I mean, not to jump in it prematurely, but some people think that you have to find a mentor in the field that you're in,
Oh,
and that's not
not the
even
case.
No, not
widely accurate.
anymore. I mean, I feel as though when you're looking for a mentor, it should be the thing that you lack the most. Like in my case, at one point, I looked for a mentor for marketing, and I looked for a mentor for business, because that is what
Exactly,
I wanted to
bolster the
master.
most.
Yeah, I wanted, because right now I'm looking for somebody to teach me the financing side of it, like bookkeeping, whatever. I mean, I'm not going to be the one to do it, but I also still want to learn how to do it, so nobody could kind of
Yeah,
cut
still need
style on
to
me.
know. Yeah, or if they're
The
scaling off the
basics.
top, you need to
Yeah,
know
just the
what
Yeah.
basics.
happened.
So I went and I
You could
looked
easily
at,
do that though.
yeah. So I mean, photography. I mean, if that's the journey you're on and you want to get somebody who will teach you how to do photography, how to shoot, how to do stuff like that, and you feel as though you need that sort of stuff, yeah, cool. go ahead, definitely do that. And then when you move from there, move on to another person that could be able to. Because I always come back to Cassius. That's what Cassius did. He he went to different people to learn different skills, and you
Chris,
know,
shout out to Chris.
yeah. Shout out to Chris. Shout out to Darren. Because he said he learned lighting from Darren. He learned
Oh, interesting.
yeah,
Okay.
and he basically moved from person to person to person, and right now he's with me. I don't know how long he might stay with me for, but so far he stuck with me for a little while
For a
again.
little bit.
Yeah, and then we'll see how he moves on from there. I
I,
guess
I want
it
to
is good.
dare say, Sion, sorry to interject, but I want to dare
Yeah, you go
say,
ahead.
having a party one, if you will, could even
Padawan.
benefit, yeah, it could even benefit the mentor, or the mentee could actually benefit the mentor, because it
Correct, because
also
it
helps
keep them on
reinforce, right?
toes. Mm-hmm.
That too. But I was just thinking that it helps reinforce what you know, and it might even have you question, because sometimes when you're showing somebody the ropes, then it's like, but I never thought why I really do this.
Dude, Cassius teach me a whole bunch of stuff already too. Like, he's like, Sion, you ever try doing this? And I'm like, I never tried doing that, but that I will try now. But yeah, we do like how there's always say, iron sharpens iron and stuff like that. So even with our little group that we have here with the G.A.S Crew, we always put true ideas out to each other, and it's like,
Yeah.
hey guys, what do you think
Even though
about
I
this?
wanted to fight it today, I wanted to and I was feeling the
But you
punch coming through your side.
but you brought it up. You brought up the
Yeah, yeah,
rule.
yeah.
You brought up the rule. So I was like, all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I feel as though is with that level of clashing as well too. If you want to put it that way,
Yeah, yeah.
it definitely helps with
Yeah, with friction you polish yourself, right? That's what you
correct, and you sharpen yourself with friction. So if we could get a group, if the group could expand to that point where this level of sharpening goes with other people and stuff like that, I would definitely be okay with that.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, the only result will be um, elevated levels right
Yeah,
around
all ship rise with the tide. Yeah.
yeah.
rising tide
Right.
relationships.
All right,
Yeah.
but
It's
I
getting
think
late, yeah.
I think I am out, and my boomsie is getting numb.
Yeah.
So
Okay then. Alright
So
guys,
yeah,
so that's it for tonight.
remember to like, share,
and join the
subscribe.
group.
Yeah, because we have a YouTube channel as well.
Oh yeah, come to the YouTube channel. I'll put up some cool stuff on that too
Please.
for you. Yeah,
We always talking
please.
about call to action. Yeah, we need
Yeah,
to be on top of that.
Get yourself
Definitely.
over to our CCS. So it's called Caribbean Creative Space YouTube name channel thing. Please subscribe,
We just
and
put it back
we
in
wanna
the
grow on that. Yeah, we
comments
do.
again.
We wanna grow over there as well. So
Yeah.
all right, guys, it was a good night tonight.
Definitely. Thanks
Yeah,
again.
so I'm saying link the channel. We'll definitely put the link in the comments. So
Right now,
look out
it
for
is
that.
in the comments. Yeah, I think it's somewhere in the
We'll
comments.
Just
we'll
for
bring it
ease of
back again.
reference now.
Yeah, we'll
All right,
bring it
guys,
back again.
have a good night. I'll see you all tomorrow.
Alright,
Go
Yeah,
chat.
take care.
pleasant evening, everyone.
All
See you
right.
next week, same time.
Ciao.
Yeah.